All right. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are at. Welcome to the Sports Compound. I am the Sarge. I hope everyone is having a great day. I gotta say that Sunday night got a little exciting last night because we had our first fight on a boxing match. We had our first celebrity death match almost. We have Chris Rock versus Will Smith. So who would win that match? Would Chris Rock with his voice, or will Will Smith, the Wild Wild West Smith, be able to win and so forth? But other than that, we just want to say welcome back. So with that being said, let's get back into it. Let's get back into the NCAA tournament. This weekend was a crazy weekend for the tournament, especially on the men's side. With that being said, we had Gonzaga going down against Arkansas, 74-68. And you heard it here that I said that the Gonzaga will not make it into the or won't win the championship. I thought they were going to actually make it to the Final Four. Then we got Duke eliminating Arkansas the next matchup. With that sets up a matchup with Duke versus North Carolina. This is one of the perceived rivalries in college basketball ever. But North Carolina, they defeated St. Peter's, who's the Cinderella team. They actually said, or the clock actually struck midnight for the St. Peter's Peacocks. They're the first number 15 team to make it into the Elite Eight. So that's what's crazy about St. Peter's, or about March Madness anyways, because you never know who's going to make it as a Cinderella. They beat Purdue, who I thought was actually going to make it to the Final Four and so forth. But that did not happen as we know. So, and Ashley Gleason says, "Woot back right at you, Ashley." So I hope everything's going good with you, Ashley. So on the women's side of the of the NCAA tournament, we got South Carolina, we have Stanford, we have I forget who else we got, but I still have Stanford actually winning in the women's national title, and I gotta give props to South Dakota. I watched a little bit of that game on ESPN over the weekend, and the South Dakota Coyotes, they actually put it to the number 3 Michigan team. They lost 52-49, but guess what? They were able to put up a show, and I thought they were going to squeak one out. And I actually heard about the South Dakota Coyotes before the tournament happening, and I thought they were going to be a team to be reckoned with, but I should have went with them. But no, I decided to go with Michigan. So with that being said, we're going to have Louisville versus Michigan. We're going to have NC State versus UConn. And can UConn actually go back to their winning ways? I'm going to say yes. They're actually going to win. I think they're going to actually beat NC State. So we're going to have Stanford versus UConn. And we're going to have South Carolina versus Louisville in the women's national four. That's who I am picking with that. Speaking of your brackets, I don't know how many brackets you made and so forth, but with that, how many brackets do people actually make, and what is your main bracket? This frustrates me. This year is the first year that I actually only did one bracket. I usually do 5 brackets. Now I get irritated when people say, "Oh, I had them pick. I had this team winning," but then later on you find out wait, you have 6 brackets and you change your mind. So what's your real bracket? So, and Ashley Gleason, go Tar Heels. I have to agree with you. I don't think they're going to beat Duke because it's the last dance for Coach K for Duke, but it's going to happen. So that's what I got for you on that one. But yeah, go Tar Heels with that one. But going back to your brackets, how many brackets do everyone create? For the women's, I only done one. I started it last year actually, and I picked Stanford to win it, and I was correct. And they're going to repeat, in my opinion. But honestly, what is your main bracket? If you created 6 brackets, what is your main bracket? You can't just pick one, or you can't pick all 6. You have to pick one. What bracket would you go off of? Would you go off the bracket that you're spending money on, which I have never done? Are you going to go off with the bracket that you, I don't know, just for fun? But what is your main bracket to go on? Don't say that you picked a team to win. Then later down the road, you're going to say, well, I was on a different bracket. Actually, I got to give you props doing one bracket. I can't keep up with 5 brackets anymore. With my age, it's just really hard for me to follow and so forth. All right, moving on from the NCAA tournaments. Let's go into the NFL. There was a big trade that happened. It was the Kansas City Chiefs trading Tyreek Hill, who is a mini-me Terrell Owens, to the Miami Dolphins. How is that going to fare for the Dolphins? I don't think it's going to fare well for the Dolphins. I think Tyreek Hill is going to get the minimum receptions. Then he is going to have an attitude because Tua cannot throw the ball. Hill could be 60 yards down deep, but he will still not get the ball because Tua cannot throw the ball deep. That's what happens. Even though that the Dolphins signed Teddy Bridgewater, that still is not going to help. Yes, you got the speed and everything, but I do not think Tyreek Hill is a good player. All he does is run fast. That's all he can do. I mean, you can tell me about his stats and all that. Yeah, look at the separation when you look at that. Look at his speed. That's how he gets his stats and so forth. But with all in all, the Kansas City Chiefs actually won that trade because they got like 3 picks of this year's draft. They got like a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and I believe a third-round pick also for this year's draft. So it's going to be interesting in the NFL. With that being said, who won the free agency in the NFL? Who do I think won? I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. They actually are stacked. Getting Von Miller, which I didn't think he was going to stay with the Rams because he would have been in a cap. It would have been a cap issue. You still got Stephon Diggs, but there's chatter that he might be traded as well. And also the Bills picked up O.J. Howard from the Bucs. I think it's the Bucs or the Buffalo Bills this coming year, depending on what happens in the draft, to actually make it to the Super Bowl. But who is going to the Super Bowl? We cannot count out the Buccaneers. Tom Brady is a Buccaneer, and that's okay. Why does he always comes out and playing? Because he loves to play. Christy Wilson, I'm just going to say hi to you as well. And Gordon saying if the offensive line can provide the protection, maybe he can pull coverage from somewhere. Talking about Tyreek Hill. Speaking of the Bills, I heard that they are getting a new stadium. That is going to be sad if they do get a new stadium because that stadium is iconic. I hope if they do come up with a new stadium, I hope they come out with like a whole area like where fans can just jump on tables and just break the tables, because I think that'd be great for the Buffalo Bills. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills Mafia. They pretty much do crazy things. They throw mustard on themselves and jump onto tables like WWE style and so forth. So with that being said, that is the news I got from the NFL. And right now we're going to take a little pause and do a little bit of our ads. So Chris, if you could play those ads, that'd be great. Thank you. We're going to get there.
K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
All right. I just want to say thank you to our 2 sponsors there, K&A Custom Crafts and the jewelry place. Check it out. Check K&A Crafts on Facebook and so forth. And you know what? They make some great products. If you have a logo, they just send them a logo. They can put it on the T-shirt and so forth with that. So, and Gordon Fiedler saying we were just talking about the Bills, that the Bills to the Sky Dome in Toronto if they split the home games. I think I can see that when they get in the stadium. Bills but I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. All right, so we got a big season coming up. Yes, we do. The lockout has ended, and we have the MLB season that is coming up. And, man, it is getting nice and feisty up there because the Boston Red Sox picked up Trevor Story. Trevor Story was linked to the Seattle Mariners about a 1 year shy from what the Red Sox was going to give, but the Red Sox gave him 1 extra year for the same amount of money. But the big issue was that for the Mariners, Trevor Story would have to play third base. But for the Red Sox, Trevor Story is going to play second base. Then once Bogarts is gone, or I think it's Bogarts, he is going to shift over to shortstop over there. So the Mariners, they still have looking for that infielder position right there. Chris Bryant was supposed to happen, but he went to where did he go? He went to the Colorado Rockies for about a 7-year deal, $185,000. Then we got Alex Cora. Yes, he went to the Minnesota Twins. About them Twins. I don't know why anybody would go on to the Twins, but then I looked it up. His contract is over 3 years for over $100 million. I'm going to say about $125 million, I believe. With each of those years, he has an opt-out option. So after the first year, I have a feeling that he's going to opt out. Or the Twins will trade him as a bargaining chip to the Yankees because somehow the Yankees could not pull in Anthony Rizzo or Freddie Freeman. So, you know what? Let's get the next best thing. How's that? So, with that being said, I think the Boston Red Sox are in prime position to take over the AL East unless the Yankees buy their way into it again. That's going to happen. With that, let's go to the AL Central. It's all the White Sox division to lose. And the AL West, I don't know about that. The AL West is going to be a shootout because the Rangers actually picked up some good players. They actually did something good in a long time. And it picked up some quality players like Corey Seager. And I think the Rangers are actually going to squeak out the West. And the Mariners, you're going to hear this right, the Mariners are going to make it to the playoffs. Then we got Chrissy Wilson. I think she's a Red Sox fan. She says, I think the Red Sox are going to do well this season. That is true, but I do not have them winning the World Series. I do not. In my early predictions, Red Sox are not World Series champions. So let's go to the NL East. The Braves lost Freddie Freeman, but they picked up Jensen from the Dodgers. But I'm going to go do a shout-out. I'm going to go with Mets for the AL East for my early predictions. Then the NL Central, I'm going to pick the Milwaukee Brewers. Then the NL West, well, it's the National League version of the Yankees. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to buy their way winning the NL West and also the World Series as a preview on that one. So next week, we're going to be talking a little bit more on the baseball and my actual predictions. These are just my pre-week before the season because the season starts next week. I believe it's April 7th with that. So I hope you guys are ready for some baseball because I am 100% ready for baseball. I'm ready to hear the crowd yelling. I'm ready to hear like the bats cracking across the ball. And I actually played a little bit of softball last night, and it was nice to be out on the field playing as well. And also, we're going to move into the NBA really quick. And it's about the Lakers. The low-full Lakers are no longer in the playoffs. They will not make it to the playoffs. That's what happens when you get LeBron on your team. He will build your team, then he'll sink your team. That's how it goes. And now he wants to play where his son goes. So once he leaves, that team is going to go down because the only time that players' stats are better than what their normal stats are is playing with LeBron. He has that effect. I get it. He's a good player. Not the greatest player, but he's good. So with that being said, in the NBA, the playoffs is among us with the NBA. And I cannot take I cannot take the Philadelphia 76ers. I cannot take Harden winning it. I think it's going to be the Golden State Warriors. Just give them the trophy, and let's move on with our day. So with that being said, it was a kind of a short show today. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about, really. I know I kind of want to hit on the NCAA topic a little bit with St. Peter's going down in the Elite Eight again, the first 15th ranked team in the NCAA tournament to make it into the Elite Eight, which was pretty cool. A team from New Jersey, a guy on that team has an awesome mustache. Their mascot is a peacock, a exotic bird. Why not? Let's have that. But other than that, thank you for joining for this quick show of the Sports Compound. I am the Sarge. Thank you for joining. Come back next week for more content. I promise you that. More content next week. I'm the Sarge. Sarge out.